Hey guys, I hope if you're watching this that you're healthy and doing alright, because it's still Corona time, at least here in the States. Today I wanted to talk about tracing, and I know that's a big topic, but I wanted to put my opinion out there. I've seen other people with similar ideas, but I feel like they don't explicitly say maybe some of the stuff I've been taught or whatnot. So here is my thoughts on tracing in art. I just wanted to say that, as you can see in the video, that I trace, and I think tracing is completely okay. But there's certain things that you have to watch out for when you're doing it. Like, for example, like you wouldn't want to trace a logo that somebody else created and call that your own. That's not really fair. I mean, that's just blatantly like just copying someone's work. That's not anything creative or new. I think tracing is great when you want to learn or study a figure, or like especially like perspective. I have a very hard time learning perspective. I use it to help me understand perspective all the time. And in this particular video, I traced the pose that this one girl had, and I made it my own piece because it's not, well, first of all, you can't really copyright the human body pose, and there's nothing unique about that particular picture. I just like the way that the photo captured the pose. I really like the angle of it, and so I traced it and I took it, and now it's mine. But it's okay because I added so many different things that are just, it's my own creativity that I added. Like, I added the boots and the hat, and she's got a skateboard now, and all these different things. So in this sense, I think tracing is completely okay. I would never judge another artist for tracing a certain element in their piece or anything, as long as it just looks like a completely different work. That's all. In the book, this is a very popular book, and if you haven't read it and you're an artist, I don't know what's wrong with you, because this book you should read. And you don't even have to be like a fine artist. I think this is good for writers or any other kind of artists, really, musicians. But I read the book How to Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And he talks about how art is essentially, like, creating original art doesn't really exist, and every art piece is essentially untraceable theft. He also mentions that the main trick is to steal from a bunch of different things that you like. There's no such thing as an original idea anymore, okay? You have to take from little things that you're inspired by to make your own work. And that's essentially how you make quote unquote like unique artwork. Also, I've been studying many different illustrators lately, and when I study them, essentially I just take their work into like Procreate or something, or Photoshop, and just trace it and just try to replicate what they did. And I'm not gonna take that work and sell it as my own, because it's not my work. I didn't change anything to it. Somebody already came up with what the colors are gonna look like, the composition and everything. I didn't really have any creative control, but I traced it so I can learn how, like, maybe kind of like what they're thinking, and like copy like how they write their lines, or like how they shade or something like that. And it feels awkward, but it helps you kind of feel like what the artist was kind of doing. And you learn so much when you do. like master copies or just tracing other people's work. And I think tracing is something artists should do, in fact. But again, don't do it to just copy and be boring and steal somebody else's idea. Like, that's not even fun. Do it so you can create the piece that you want to make in your own brain. Lately, I've been wondering if you can have two different art styles, because I love like my painterly, like fine arts style that has been developing over time, and that's always been a style that I've been really attracted to. But at the same time, I've randomly gone into animation, and it'd be extremely difficult to do complete any sort of work with the painterly style that I have now in animation. So I've been looking at other illustrators that have more simplified illustrative look, and I've been studying them and things like that. And that brings me to my question, like, can I have two different styles of art? Because one would be like my fine arts, and then the other one would be like my animation style. But I feel like a lot of animators, like, their art style is simply their animation style. I don't feel like a lot of people have two styles, but I guess it's fine. I'll have two styles. There's no rules to art. Speaking of animation and my weird obsession with it lately, I've been looking at doing animating in Photoshop, and I know most people would be like, ew, why would you want to animate in Photoshop? And another half of you are like, I didn't know you could animate in Photoshop. But I really want to learn how to animate in Photoshop, just because I have been forced in so many of my courses to learn and use Photoshop. So because I already understand it so well, might as well also use it for animation. It would just make things a lot easier. I do already have Creds on my computer, which is a free art program if you haven't heard of it, and I know that they're really good at animation, but I think for now, just starting out, since I'm just so comfortable with Photoshop, I think I'm just gonna stick with Photoshop. Are there any animation programs that you can pay for that are really good? Because I can only think of Adobe Animate, but that's a vector-based program, and I want to do more of like hand-drawn animation. Plus, I think animation would be such a good practice in just getting better at art, because you're just drawing the same thing over and over again. So, like, here's an idea. Like, since I'm really bad at drawing hands, what if I like animated like maybe 4 seconds of hands at a 15-second frame rate? 4 seconds would be 60 drawings of hands, which is incredible practice, and it's so satisfying to see your animations play out. And don't quote me on the math. I don't remember. I haven't taken a math class in ages, but I think it's 60. But yeah, I just think animation can, I don't know, I'm looking forward to playing around with animation and seeing what I can make. do you guys have colors that you just tend to always lean towards? Because I think my color is pink. Like, if I get to pick a color, it's most likely going to be like bright magenta pink color. And I wouldn't even say it's because, like, oh, I'm super girly, that's why I like pink. I really like pink. That's all. I think it's such a pretty color. And I also like cyan. I like the bright, like, RGB colors. But yeah, I've noticed that those are the colors I'm always going back towards. It's so weird watching your work that you spent 30 hours doing be smushed into a 15-minute video. Like, it's just crazy to see all that work just compressed like that. But it's pretty cool too. I feel like even though I started this channel maybe 4 months ago, I feel like I've already grown so much. Well, at least I've learned so many new different things in art. Like, back at the beginning of this, I really did not like digital art for like ever. Like, the whole time in my whole life, I've never liked digital art. And now I'm like making digital art on the daily. And now I want to do animation. So it's just funny how things go like that. At one point, I made the cities a smart object because I was trying to figure out how to blur non-destructively like just one part of the image, but I don't know how I ended up making it a smart object and just working with that. But I think eventually I figured out that I didn't have to do any of all the work that I did making it a smart object and everything at all. Well, yeah, here's the end of the video. I ended up giving her a little septum ring. That's probably my favorite touch because I really want my septum done, but it's Corona season. But yeah, thanks for watching.